check. Second, you will check if all that information is matching your grounding info or not. So that's how you will be able to check. Is the name of the hotel the same? Yes. Is it the description? Correct. Ratings, prices. So for your variable factors like prices and all, if the price here and here matches, then it's a no issue for us. Another thing you need to keep in mind when you're doing truthfulness is there are primary claims and secondary claims. So a primary claim is basically everything that the model needs to give you to answer your question completely. Any secondary claim is any extra information that it's giving you that's relevant to you. So here, let's say it's saying that the upmarket hotel featuring a restaurant and bar and has a gym and breakfast. But when you make a search, you realize there isn't actually a gym there. So that's a secondary claim. It directly doesn't affect your answer that you asked for, right? So everything's correct, no issue. If there is something wrong in the secondary claims, but all primary claims are correct, that's a minor issue. At least one primary claim is inaccurate. If the primary claim itself is inaccurate, that is a major issue. Now, another rating here is a cannot assess, which means you have been looking for this information for 15 minutes and you cannot identify the source of truth for it. That becomes a cannot assess for you. Let's say there is no grounding info present. There are cases where you won't have this information and you've been making a web search for it and you can't assess the evidence because you can't find information. For 15 minutes, if you've been doing it and you still can't find it, that becomes a cannot assess. If it's a punt, it is a cannot assess. A not applicable would be when there are no factual claims in it. So, for example, if it is a creative writing task, you've asked it to write a story or a poem or something like that, and there's nothing factual in it, that becomes a not applicable. Another thing in cannot assess would be, let's say there's a code here. The user has asked, can you generate a code for me? And you don't come from a coding background. All right. So obviously you can't verify if it's correct or wrong if it's not given to you in the grounding info and you can't find an exact code on the net. You won't really be able to understand if the code is true or not. So in those cases, when it's something to do with coding, mathematical things, or scientific things, that you don't have the expertise, only these three guys, coding, mathematical, scientific, you don't have the expertise to do that and you can't verify what's given, you won't say that it's an issue because you really haven't been able to check yourself. So you'll just say it's a cannot assess. Here, I've already verified all of this. So if you can see, they're all purpled out. It's a no issue. The last two rubrics, tool call and grounding info. For that, you'll scroll down here. All right. Another very important rubric, tool call, right? You are going to check if it's using the right tool, function, and parameter. So three parts to this. Now, what do I mean by tool? So your tool is where the model goes to get your information. What does it use to get your information? So if you go to your tool calls on your Notion, you have a list of tools that are available to the model and the purpose it's most ideal for. So if it is to search videos, music, anything like that, it should be going to YouTube to get your information. If it's anything to do with flights, it should be using Google Flights to get your information. So here it's to do with hotels, which means it should be using Google Hotels. So these are the tools available to the model. Otherwise, you can get flight information on Make My Trip, Ixigo, normal Google search, anywhere. Right? But these are the tools that are available to the model and the purpose it's most ideal for. So you would go here, you will check if it used the right tool or not. It said need Google Hotels, right? And it used Google Hotels. So that's how you will check if it's using the right tool or not. The function is this part, right? The function is, even here you can see operation ID. The function is this part. What is the model doing with your tool? So if it's YouTube, let's say, it's going to play things. It's going to play videos, play music. It's not that you're going to be able to watch and listen to music on your model, but the function that it's going to perform on YouTube is playing things. Right? On YouTube, when you go, you play things. Now you can't play flights or play hotels. You search for flights, you search for hotels. So you will search, you will look for that operation ID, which is your function. Okay, you'll see that here also and here also. Your last one is your parameter. So parameters are all the criterias you are giving the model to refine your search. So here you said London, 4.2 minimum rating, $300 maximum price. So it should be applying all of that here. If it's doing all that correctly, it's a no issue, right? So if it's using the right tool, right function, right parameter, and generates a useful response out of it, that's a no issue. If it is making any issues in the function or the parameter, right? Not the tool itself, but there are some issues that there might have been a better or a missing or an unnecessary tool function or parameter, that becomes a minor issue. If let's say the tool itself is wrong, instead of Google Hotels, it used Google Search. You can still find information there, but the model had a better tool. So if it's a tool issue, it automatically becomes a major issue. Or if it's missing multiple critical parameters. If instead of saying 4.2 and $300, it is saying 3.5 and $500 per night, that's violating my key components of the question. That becomes a major issue for me, rendering the response unhelpful. Okay, it will not generate a useful response if it puts all the wrong parameters, obviously. So that's why it's a major issue. It'll be not applicable when there is no tool given or when there are punts. All right. Here we can see the right tool is used, the right function is used, right parameters applied. So that becomes a no issue for us. Similarly, when you scroll down, so now you know enough context about grounding info, the kind of information you will find here. The criteria for grounding info is you will look at the question, you will look at the grounding info. If you see that to answer your question, all the information is present in your grounding information quality, right? In your grounding info, if you have all the information you need to answer this, and you have some extra information also, like I did not ask for descriptions, I didn't ask for classes of hotels, I didn't ask for review ratings, right? But all of this adds value to my response. I now know that if I want a gym and breakfast, or if I want an upmarket hotel, I would go for this one. Or let's say if I want a sauna, I would go for this hotel. So anything that is adding extra information that's valuable to you, that's relevant to the question, that becomes an amazing. That is giving you information you asked for and is also giving you some extra information along with it. Right? It is a good, then it's giving you exactly the information that you need. So it's giving you the name of the hotel, it's giving you the rating and the price. So it's not having all of this information, let's say, right? But it's still giving you the information you asked for. So if it's additional, it becomes amazing. But if it's sufficient information to satisfy the user intent, exactly what you asked for, nothing extra, that's good. Now let's say if the grounding info fails to satisfy the intent of the user, which means all of this information is irrelevant, it has nothing to do with hotels in London, or it is missing all the important information you need. There is no information here about your price, your hotel name, it's just random information. That is bad grounding info, because with that information, it can't generate a useful response for you. Last category here would be a not applicable. Sometimes you will see that there is no grounding info here. Now, one thing you need to understand, guys, when it's bad or not applicable, it doesn't matter if your answer is still giving you what you asked for. We are going to evaluate these rubrics independent of each other. So even if it's giving you answer about the London hotels, but here it has something to do with gyms in New York, that's irrelevant to you. So independently, if the grounding info doesn't answer what you asked it for, that's a bad. If there's no grounding info at all, or if there are puns, that's a not applicable. Once you're done with all of that, the last thing you will do is the overall response quality. Now, this depends on how the answer has performed throughout these 10 rubrics. So, very simply, if you go to your Notion and go to your overall response quality, right? Drop down, you will see a table here, which very clearly gives you if the response has no major minor issues across the previous 10 rubrics, nothing that was wrong, everything was a no issue, right? That is a A. Now, one thing we need to understand, cannot assess, not applicable are not counted as issues. So if you have, let's say, two of them are not applicable and the other seven are no issues, one of them is cannot assess, it's still an A. You just need to check if there are any major minor issues. A B would be when there are no major issues, two or less minor issues, two or more minor issues, C. Even one major issue, it automatically becomes a D. Two or more major issues is becomes an E. So how you would check that is either you can scroll up here, count major minor issues, right? Or you can scroll down towards the end and there's a summary table. So here you can see under response A was a summary. There's one minor issue, one major issue. So we have one major issue which automatically makes it a D. So that's how you will do one response. Now this might have seemed lengthy because I was going through each one of them in detail, explaining everything that goes on with every option. Now what I want to do is let you all give answers to the second one and we'll see if you're able to get the right answers or not. Okay, so the same question again. I want to stay at a hotel in London with at least a rating of 4.2. Don't want to spend more than 300 US dollars per night. Now, there are two options here, guys. Firstly, I will be showing the rubrics to you. I'll be sharing the screen with you. Okay. I'll help you all unmute yourself so you can give out answers with the caveat that please do not unmute yourself if you know there is a lot of background noise towards your end. Okay, let's not disturb others also. If you know there's a lot of background noise, let's not unmute ourselves. After that, if we are asking any logistical questions, anything else, please let's not do that while we are answering the question. Okay, right now when you unmute yourself, please focus only on answering the question. If there are any logistical questions, you can put them into the chat box and then we will be taking those questions up. Okay. So, self. Okay. Any issues with instruction following?
No issues.
No issues. All right. We'll move on to the next one, content, conciseness, and relevance. Is there anything that's repeated here, anything unhelpful or irrelevant to us?
No. 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 No
No?
issues.
All right.
No issues.
Content completeness. Did we get everything we asked for?
Yeah, it is complete.
No
issues.
issues?
No issues.
Next one.
No issue. Very thorough and clear. No issue.
Collaborativity. Did it ask us any relevant questions?
No.
No issue.
No issues. Contextual awareness, again, not applicable, obviously. Harmlessness,
No issue.
no issues.
Yes.
Truthfulness, I can help you all with that. I've verified all of also. All right, go.
No. No.
But you will look at the table in your Notion. So if you go to your step 3, which is comparatively ranking the responses, all right, here you are clearly given what do we mean by better, slightly better, much better. So if it's a difference of 1 point in the overall rating quality, which is your ABCD, if there's a difference of 1 point, it becomes a slightly better. If one of your answers has a lot of minor issues and the other one is better, visibly you can see that it's noticeably better, and one of them has a lot of minor issues, that becomes a better. If it has a difference of at least 2 dimensions in the overall quality, right, then that's a much better. And about the same would be when both of them are equally good or equally bad, that becomes an about the same. Again, please read through each point under all of them. Don't just read the first point and mark your answers. Read through each one of them. For us, we clearly know that one is an A and the other one was a D. So we will say response B is much better than A. Finally, you will write a justification for that. B is much better than A because. Okay. Now, this justification is your final feedback that you're giving the model. So please make sure this is detailed, it's good, it's thorough, it's of good quality. When I say detailed, I don't mean you write paragraphs and paragraphs. That's not what we're expecting. But give us justification with enough supporting evidence. Sorry. If you are saying that B is much better than A, why are you saying B is much better than A? Right? So probably for our answer, you would write things like B is much better than A because A didn't ask any relevant questions, any follow-up questions where it should have. And that's why it's a major issue in collaborativity with A. Whereas B did ask us a relevant follow-up question that helps the user better. So it is being a collaborative model. It is also giving you all the information you need so the answers are complete here and so on. So using the evidence from your rubrics, that will become your supporting claim. So make sure your answers are very objective. You don't have to write paragraphs and give us information that's very subjective. Just use your rubrics as your supporting claim and give us the answer here. Okay. So please make sure this justification is of good quality because obviously we are training the model based on feedback. So obviously we are going to look for that when we are looking at your quality of responses. After you're done with the entire task, you will submit it here, right bottom. I would say please don't skip the tasks. What that does is it doesn't finish your response. So obviously we can't do the quality check then. So please try and finish the responses. Go through the Notion again and again, and you will be able to get to the right answer. If you read the objective criteria carefully, you will be able to mark the answers properly. Now, while I'm still sharing my screen, before I come to your questions, I want to show you where you will find these tasks on your platform. So if you go to Soul page, get started. The first few steps are barely any different from what you would generally be doing, guys. So this is basically for you to get to the main dashboard on your Soul pages, right? So if you go to this and you go on to use the account that you have used to register on the Soul platform. Don't use any other account, please. Continue. This will bring to your main page, right? Now my page might look a little different than yours, not too different. Okay, this will bring to your main page. Now for everyone wondering, we haven't done English proficiency test because it says tests are down for everyone. Don't worry, it doesn't matter, right? Even if you haven't done it, it won't affect the ability to take your test or your project or anything. Even if you haven't done this, you will still be able to do these things. Just scroll down and search for current projects. If you just scroll down a little, you will be able to see a blocker called current projects. Go on to agent. It will take you to a page like this. Click on start tasking. That will take you to your final page. Now, two things to notice here, guys. There are links here for best practices and instruction document. Right now, it seems to have some technical error and it's not working. So if you can see, the document's not being found on the platform. The instruction document is nothing but the notion that we have given. So that's the instruction document that was already sent to you as a pre-read document in your emails. Okay. Apart from that, the best practices is nothing but your being able to follow the rubrics properly, stick to the instructions completely, do one response, only then move on to the next response, and those things. The only extra information here is that you need to install an extension called Monitor X. I'm going to leave this on my screen till I talk to you about it. So everyone, please be attentive and make a note of this, right? Monitor X needs to be installed to your Chrome browsers. Please don't use any other browser. For anything to do with tasking and this extension, please use your Chrome browser. Okay? Monitor X is basically something that helps us track your performance. So how long are you spending on this? Again, there's no deadline to each task, right? There's nothing that you need to finish it in 15 minutes, you need to finish in half an hour, nothing like that. It just helps us track your performance. Also, please do not use any AI models because this extension will catch that. Okay. Don't use any AI models to answer your questions. Please do not do that. Finally, when you're installing this, close any other tabs that has any sensitive information, any private information, any login pages, nothing like that. Try and close that for the sole reason that we don't want to track any other information. It's not that it'll capture all of that. It doesn't record your screen, but it's a good practice always that if you have anything unnecessary open, please close that. The other reason for that is when you have a lot of tabs open, the task takes a long time to load. The extension doesn't load up quickly. So any unnecessary tabs that you have open, please close them all. Okay. You can have your Notion pages open, obviously. You can have your instructions document open. All of that is fine. All I'm trying to say is just a lot of tabs open that you don't really need. All right. So that is the extension. I'll just copy that and I'll paste it when I get back to our Zoom platform. Okay. So that is the extension. It'll be very easy for you to identify. Generally, it's the first link also. Secondly, if you open that, you will be able to see that SOLAI, a picture is put up here. So install this extension. Will have an extension installed as Monitor X. Okay, so that was your extension. Now, let me just quickly repeat this for you if you might have forgotten where to find this. On guys, current projects, agentic workflow project shield, the project that you're invited for, go to task, right hand side, click on that. It'll take you to your tasking platform. Start tasking. Again, start tasking. Right? Those tabs here. All right. So that will open up to the task that you are doing. Once you're done with the entire thing, you can click on sum. All right. So that is all that I wanted to share with you all. Okay. Mm, all right. So I've shared the link to MonitorX. Now I will be answering most of the queries that are in your chat box are about assessments, not being able to see that, how much time you should be taking, what are the deadlines. So let me give you all of that information. Okay. If anyone is able to see the project, can you please confirm that in the chat box? Right? Firstly, the reason if people are not able to see it is one, you're not a sole registered user. A lot of people get links from their friends and they, okay, if you're not able to see it, Vinay, you don't have to say no multiple times. You just say no once and I'll give you what the reason is and what you can do about that. Okay. So a lot of times what happens is people get these links from their friends and then they join the meeting. That would be one of the reasons. Prati, I'll get back to your question also. Secondly, if you are a sole registered user and you're still not able to see it, that means there's a technical error with your individual account. For that, you can raise a ticket to the support team. For that, I'm sending an email in the chat box. Okay. If you raise a ticket on that, they will sort out the issue with your individual accounts and all of that will be sorted for you. Now the ticket doesn't resolve. Again, please give it some time. There are at least 200 people in each meeting that I'm taking every day. So there are a lot of people accessing this platform, right? And a lot of people are being qualified. People are already working on the client projects because it is ongoing. So just give us some time. If it's anything to do with a ticket or a support related query, or if you have done this assessment previously, for everyone who said, I've attended this, I've done the assessment previously, it's been 2 days and I still didn't get the response. Give us some time. The quality check is being done every day. We are checking the quality of your answers. Only if you have qualified, we are going to inform you about that, right? If you cannot clear out the quality that we need, then obviously we can't onboard you onto the client project. So we are going to check the quality of your responses. Are you able to work correctly? Are you able to get all the accurate answers? And if you have qualified, we will communicate that to you. Okay. So we need to check your performance before we put you onto the client projects. Now, how much time should you be spending on each task? Generally, it takes people around 20-25 minutes on each task. You must have observed when you were doing the second response that it's not very difficult when you start understanding the rubrics and start answering. All right. So ideally, it takes around 20-25 minutes to do all of this. Now, I get it that if you're doing it for the first few times, you might take a while to wrap your head around the instructions. So it might take you 30, 35, 40 minutes also. Now, what I would say is two things you need to keep in mind: the quality of your work and the efficiency of your work. Quality takes precedence. So you don't want to compromise on the quality of your performance. You don't want to compromise on the, um, let's say, accuracy of your answers, right? You don't want to do that just to finish the task in the time limit. There is no time limit for the same reason. I will come to your questions, guys. If you put it once, I will answer all of these questions. So just give me a moment. I will be answering your questions. All right. So don't compromise on the quality of your performance. At the same time, it doesn't mean you take three tasks and you keep doing that for 5, 6 hours. Right? So make sure that you are spending on an average 20 to 25 minutes. For the first few tasks, it's fine if it takes you 30, 35 minutes also, but try and do them efficiently and accurately. Now, how many tasks do you need to finish in the assessment? Your assessment will have around 3 to 5 tasks. Okay, try and complete all of them. If you have a lot of tasks, right, which should not ideally be the case, but let's say if you are having six tasks or something, if you're able to do them, that's great, because then your overall average score increases, which gives us a better understanding of your performance. Let's say if you're doing one and you're performing very poorly on that, first of all, if you're doing one task, we can't really qualify you because it's not giving us enough context about your performance. I would say please do a minimum of three at least. That's a qualifying task. And when you do three, you need to score really high. Your answers need to be very accurate. So try and do at least 5, 6 tasks if you have them. If you have three tasks on your platform, right? Complete all three of them at least. That gives us enough context. You can take around 20, 25, 30 minutes also for each task. Do not worry. All right. Now, try finishing as many tasks as you can so that it gives us enough information to evaluate your quality. Let's say if you perform bad on one, but you have done really well on the other four, the chances of you qualifying are higher because your overall performance is great. It's just one task where there's an exception, and we'll provide you feedback. Okay. Now, the other thing is there anyone who has been able to see the project? Because if no one is able to see it, I will be raising this with the support team as a whole issue. So I will also be doing that from mine. If there's anyone who's able to see it, it will really help if you can say that you are able to see it. Okay? All right. If you can't see it, don't worry. You don't have to put it in. I have understood that a lot of people are not able to see the tasks. So I will make sure that I'm raising that. If there's anyone who's able to see it, that'll help me understand if it's available or not. All right. Now, the pay structure again. A lot of people have been asking about that question. It's a freelancing position. You have understood the general pay criteria